Something big just changed Palantir's story today. Palantir's next price might have been leaked today. No one really expected this. But here's the crazy part. One analyst pointed something out. Alex Karp and the developers might push something game-changing for Palantir. Is this the start of the dream rally for Palantir? Or is this something else? And why am I being so excited? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Palantir had a bit of a shake-up today. It dipped for a moment, caught some people off guard, but it didn't take long before it started climbing back up. It wasn't one of those dramatic plunges. It was more like a quick reset before pushing forward again. And here's where it gets really interesting. Even with that little hiccup, if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the stock is still riding high. Over the past week, it's been strong, gaining solid ground and keeping that momentum alive. What's even more impressive is the energy in the community. Investors aren't shaken, they're fired up. Confidence is running high because Palantir keeps proving itself as a powerhouse. People know what this company is capable of, and they see the long game. It's not just about a single day's movement. It's about the bigger trend, and that trend is pointing up. Every time Palantir faces a small pullback, it's met with even more buying pressure. That kind of resilience speaks volumes. The stock isn't just surviving these dips, it's using them as fuel. And here's the thing. One analyst took a close look at Palantir's chart and pointed out something interesting. He wasn't too thrilled about how today's candle closed under a key moving average, saying it's not the best look in the short term. But at the same time, the overall flow of money into the stock was leaning bullish, which shows there's still plenty of confidence. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. There's a strong trend line just a bit lower, acting as support. If Palantir drifts down a little more, it could actually set up a great buying opportunity for those looking to jump in at a solid level. Stochastics are starting to shift, hinting that there might be a bit more room for a pullback, but nothing that changes the bigger picture. And wait, I know. That sounds crazy, but hear me out. Something huge just came to light today, and when you connect the dots with Palantir's recent moves, it starts to look like they're gearing up for something massive. We're talking about the kind of development that could send Palantir's price soaring to new levels. And here's what's even crazier. Wall Street might have leaked something massive for Palantir's next, and no one expected it. Now, I can't spill all the details just yet, but trust me, you're going to want to. I'll break it all down later in the video, so make sure you stick around until the end. But first, let's hear about this odd but actually insane move by Palantir recently. In a recent interview, CIO Jim Siders dropped a bombshell. Palantir cut down its IT team by a huge amount. But instead of struggling, it's actually growing faster and running smoother than ever. And this isn't just about saving money. It's a bold move that shows how Palantir does things. Rather than relying on a giant IT department, they've woven their own AI-powered foundry platform directly into their business. No more slow, outdated systems. Everything is now lean, connected, and way more efficient. It's a total shift in how a company can operate, and it fits right into Palantir's culture of questioning everything and breaking old systems that don't work anymore. Siders even mentioned that an MIT professor once suggested ditching IT departments completely, and Palantir did it. Now, decisions get made faster, teams work more smoothly, and the company isn't weighed down by the usual bloat. Most companies are still stuck in the past with oversized IT teams, but Palantir is proving that cutting the extra layers doesn't mean losing power. It means getting smarter, faster, and way more agile. And here's where it gets even more exciting. Palantir's business is booming, pulling in massive revenue and gaining serious traction in the commercial world. While other companies are scrambling to figure out how to adapt to AI, Palantir is already ahead of the game. And for investors, this is bigger than just a company running more efficiently. It's a preview of the future, where AI-powered businesses operate leaner, make more money, and open up entirely new opportunities. But here's something crazier. Wall Street just dropped a massive. Goldman Sachs reiterated its neutral rating on Palantir. But here's where it gets wild. They slapped an $80 price target on it. Yeah, $80. That's lower than where it's trading right now, which might make raise an eyebrow. But let's break this down because there's more to the story. Goldman's team recently visited Palantir's New York office, met with some top execs, and got an inside look at the company's AI advancements. They walked away impressed, especially with Palantir's ontology, a system that basically stitches together messy, scattered data and turns it into something useful for decision-making. That's a huge deal for AI adoption because raw data alone is useless if companies can't actually apply it in situations. And Palantir has been ahead of the game on this for years. So why the neutral rating? Goldman says they're not sure how easy it'll be for businesses to build custom AI workflows in the future, and they're comparing Palantir's valuation to other software companies growing at a similar pace. Here's what they're missing. Palantir isn't just another software company. It's an AI powerhouse that's proving it can deliver real results fast, and enterprises are starting to realize that. Now let's talk about the stock. Palantir is trading above that $80 target, and that's a bullish sign. Why? Because the market clearly sees more potential than what Goldman is suggesting. Analysts set targets based on models, but price action tells the real story. And right now, investors aren't buying the idea that they're worth less. The demand is strong, and the long-term vision is what's driving it higher. So, despite the neutral rating, this Palantir. Wall Street is acknowledging its edge in AI. Businesses are catching on, and the stock is holding strong above their target. That's not a sign of weakness. That's proof that Palantir is ahead of the curve, and the market knows it. And here's the exciting part. When you look at the bigger picture, none of this short-term noise really matters. Palantir is constantly building, and that's what true higher over time. One analyst just broke down something insane about Palantir's recent partnerships and advancements. And it's all starting to make sense now. Palantir isn't just landing deals. It's planting its AI-powered flag in every major industry you can think of. Defense, healthcare, aviation, utilities, it's everywhere. And these aren't just small side projects. These are deep integration of entire industries. In defense, Palantir is helping with real-time data processing for military operations. In utilities, it's cutting through outdated processes to make things more efficient. Healthcare? It's speeding up drug trials. Aviation? It's streamlining production for futuristic aircraft. And with a heavyweight like Databricks, it's expanding AI adoption across even more sectors. But what does all this mean for the stock? It means Palantir isn't just another AI company. It's becoming the backbone of critical industries. These partnerships aren't just about landing new clients. They lock Palantir into long-term, high-value contracts that keep revenue flowing for years. Here's where it gets really crazy. Analysts have been throwing around the idea that Palantir could hit $250 in the future. At first, that might have sounded wild. But when you put everything together, it's not just possible. It's starting to look inevitable. If Palantir keeps locking in deals like these, expanding its AI influence, and embedding itself deeper into major industries, that kind of price target doesn't just seem realistic. It seems like the natural next step. And if that happens, the impact on others? Massive. And looking at the long-term price, there's really no need to stress. One in and made a solid point. Palantir haters might want to take a step back. The stock is sitting around $90, up a huge amount this year. And if you zoom out, the gains over the 5 years have been absolutely massive. Sure, short-term volatility is part of the ride. Palantir isn't one of those slow-moving, boring stocks. It moves fast. Sometimes that means sharp drops. But here's the thing. It always rewards long-term investors. That's just how the market works with great businesses, and Palantir is one of the best out there. At the end of the day, this is a company that keeps delivering. It's locking in major deals, expanding its AI reach across industry, and proving that it's built for the future. That's why the stock keeps climbing, and it's why investors who hold on through the noise end up winning big. So while some people stress over the dips, smart money knows the real play. Palantir long-term machine, and the market knows it. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then be sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. We come to the end of this video. Palantir price just had a massive leak, and the numbers are really crazy. Around 300 million worth of Palantir stocks are being questioned. Analysts are dropping their signals. The dream of $500 per share might be coming soon. But how is this even possible? And this definitely makes the community excited. Is this the start of something massive for Palantir? Or is this something else? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. It's turning out to be a pretty solid day for Palantir. The stock took a rough dive, sinking all the way down to around $80, and for a moment, it felt like things were unraveling. But just like that, it came roaring back, climbing its way up and settling near 86. It's almost like Palantir is flexing, showing that it's built different, that it can take a hit and still bounce back stronger. And you can feel the energy shift. Just a little while ago, the atmosphere was heavy, filled with uncertainty and doubt. But now, it's like a breath of fresh air. the sentiment flipped, and suddenly, everyone's bullish again. Confidence is creeping back in, and Palantir isn't just holding its ground, it's making a statement. And here's the thing. One analyst broke it down perfectly, explaining exactly what's happening with Palantir's chart right now. According to him, it showed some real strength to close out the week, then dipped into a key demand zone where buyers stepped in. And today, it flipped an important moving average on the daily chart, a sign that momentum might be shifting. On the weekly, there's a bullish hammer forming, one of those patterns that traders love to see because it hints at a potential rebound. It's starting to look promising, but now it needs to prove itself. A little more follow-through, and this could turn into something really interesting. One analyst even went as far as saying that today is the perfect time to jump into Palantir. He pointed out that Palantir's stock has been on a wild ride lately, swinging up and down as investor sentiment shifts fast. The overall trend has been rough, with the stock sliding hard over the past month, mostly due to a broader market pullback and a wave of selling in high-growth software names. On top of that, concerns about potential federal spending cuts and questions about Palantir's valuation have added even more pressure. But according to Loop Capital's Mark Schappel, this is exactly the kind of moment where quality stands out. His advice? Stick with companies that dominate their space, have strong competitive positions, solid profit margins, and generate steady cash flow. And in his view, Palantir checks every single box. Even though he had to trim his price target a bit due to the market's recent reset, he's still extremely bullish, seeing major upside over the next year. Bottom line, he's calling it a buy. But wait, this buy signal from the analyst might actually make a lot of sense. And here's why. Something crazy just leaked today. Palantir's price target has been leaked, and if this turns out to be true, we're talking about a potential move to $500. Yeah, you heard that right. This could change everything. I'll break it all down later in the video, but first, here's something you might want to know. Insider selling has been wild lately, and today, something big just came to light. Stephen Cohen, Palantir's president and co-founder, just unloaded over $300 million worth of shares last week. This isn't just another routine sale. This is by far the biggest one he's made in over a year. And here's why that's a big deal. When a top executive sells that much stock, it makes people wonder. Does he know something the rest of us don't? Is he just cashing out? Or is there something bigger at play? Moves like this can shake investor confidence, especially when a stock is already in a volatile spot. Some will brush it off as normal, but for others, it's a reason to second-guess everything. It could fuel doubt, shift momentum, and change the way people see Palantir's future. And just like that, the community had plenty to say. As expected, the reaction started rolling in. One analyst on Twitter put it bluntly, "This is the only issue they have with Palantir. Not worried about federal spending, tariffs, AI fears, or even global tensions. None of that. But the constant insider selling? That's a problem." They pointed out that if Palantir's leadership could just hit pause on these massive stock sales, or at least explain what's going on, it would make a huge difference. Right now, it's just not a good look. No one's questioning the company itself. The future looks solid, and as Dan Ives put it, Palantir is basically the Messi of AI. But for some investors, that's not enough. They're holding off on taking a serious long position until they see insiders actually buying instead of selling. But hold on, maybe we're all overthinking this. One analyst just stepped in and pointed something out that changed the whole perspective. He reminded everyone that Palantir's management did the exact same thing last year, selling a huge amount of stock right before the price exploded by hundreds of %. Back then, people panicked, thinking it was a bad sign. But in reality, the stock went on an absolute tear. So this isn't necessarily bearish. It's just a classic move, executives taking profits like management teams do all the time. The only reason it's getting so much attention now is because, well, it's Palantir, and a lot of people already think it's overvalued, so every little thing sparks a debate. But if history repeats itself, this could actually be a bullish sign. What if the stock is gearing up for another huge run? What if there's something big happening behind the scenes that we don't know about yet? The timing is interesting, and if the past is any clue, this could be the setup for something huge. And here's the thing. There's some huge price leak now that might back this up. A huge leak just sent the Palantir community into a frenzy today. Amid all the back and forth on fundamentals, DeepSeek AI's latest R1 model just dropped a bold prediction. Palantir could be gearing up for a massive bullish run by April, potentially setting a new all-time high. According to the AI model, it all comes down to key factors like Palantir's growing list of strategic partnerships, its dominance in AI, and those ever-important defense contracts. But it's not all smooth sailing. There are risks too. Slowing revenue growth, potential defense budget cuts, and concerns over valuation could throw a wrench in the rally. DeepSeek laid out two possible outcomes. If confidence stays strong, we could see Palantir shooting up toward insane levels, even reaching $130. But if things go south, the stock could take a hit. Even with those risks, the AI model's base case still paints a pretty bullish picture. Now, if you guys remember, analysts have already talked about Palantir eventually hitting $500, but only if they recovered fully and locked in the right partnerships. Well, guess what? That's exactly what's happening right now. With all these new deals and constant advancements, that target might not be as far off as people think. In fact, we might be seeing it way sooner than expected, because Palantir's impact right now is undeniable. And here's just one example of how massive it really is. Swiss Re, one of the biggest names in reinsurance, saw absolutely insane results after consolidating through Palantir. We're talking a return on investment that blew past expectations, paying for itself in just a handful of months. On top of that, their reporting time was slashed by more than half. Underwriters saved a huge chunk of time, and data engineers, their productivity skyrocketed. And this is exactly why Palantir's stock has the potential to go crazy. When companies see real tangible results like this, when Palantir's software isn't just useful but completely game-changing, big money starts flowing in. More contracts, bigger deals, stronger demand. For investors, this isn't just about numbers on a screen. This kind of momentum is what builds generational wealth. The kind of stock that doesn't just rise, it creates millionaires. And with Palantir constantly proving its worth, we might just be watching history unfold in real time. And looking ahead, Palantir's future is shaping up to be massive. One analyst is so confident that he straight up believes Palantir is on track to become a trillion-dollar company. He explained that trying to value Palantir based on traditional financial metrics just doesn't work, just like with most high-growth companies. The real question isn't about where the numbers are today, but how far Palantir's technology will spread and how much cash flow it can generate over time. In his eyes, this company belongs in the top 10 globally, and right now, the stock is seriously undervalued. He sees anything under $100 as a gift, because in the long run, Palantir could be worth far more. And if that's the case, then the 500 price target isn't just some wild prediction. It's within reach. If Palantir keeps expanding, locking in major partnerships, and proving its dominance in AI and defense, we're not just talking about a stock that does well. We're talking about a company that could reshape industries, create massive wealth for investors, and cement itself as one of the most powerful players in the market. The way things are going, this could be just the beginning. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.